Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay City Council has begun its line-by-line review of the proposed 2023 budget.
Last night was the first meeting in which councillors could make changes to the tax levy. As Vasilios Bellos explains, the hike actually increased on day one, but council is still looking for some big cuts before the budget is ratified.
Tuesday's budget meeting unsurprisingly opened with a lengthy debate surrounding the tax levy. Councillor Mark Bentz wanted administration to provide some options to decrease the tax levy hike to 5% after growth. Councillor Albert Aiello wanted it even lower at 4%, which eventually got the approval of council, meaning administration will bring those options to the January 31st meeting.
Inflation and what people are going through. You know, look at the price of groceries, gas, pretty much everything. And again, I'm the one throwing out the 4 because I really feel that is tangible and it's something that they could understand in these unprecedented times.
I'll be supporting the 4%, knowing full well that if we direct 4%, we're not likely to land at 4%. We'll likely have more options to get to 5%.
Prior to that approval, Councillor Shelby Chung voiced her displeasure with the timing of the discussion.
Come September or July or whenever administration comes forward and says, what do you want to see in the budget? Give us direction. Remember these moments, because I'm kind of a little bit tired of these things coming last minute to council.
Councillor Andrew Folds wanted to ensure administration would look into possibly pulling from the City Reserve Fund when forming the 4% tax hike budget proposals, also receiving council support.
I know why administration would never recommend that, and I think more times than none, they're correct. But looking at the long-term overview, this year and next year are anomalies. And that is one of the rationales for using your bank account.
Council also approved putting $1.3 million of infrastructure spending into the budget, reversing some previous cuts, including to the Thunder Bay Public Library. CEO Richard Togman recognizes nothing is confirmed until ratification on February 6th, but believes part of this move by council is a result of taxpayer feedback.
Council listen to the community in that kind of way and take the public feedback and allocate the resources to where the voters have voiced their priorities. So clearly the library is top on the list or among the chief concerns of our citizens.
With the $1.3 million in infrastructure spending added, the tax levy hike now sits at 6.8% before growth and 6.2% after. Vasilios Bellos, TVT News.
3 men from the Toronto area were arrested near Sault Ste. Marie this morning following a double shooting in Thunder Bay around 10 o'clock last night. A man and a woman suffered serious gunshot wounds. City police say the incident was related to the drug trade. As Jonathan Wilson explains, the suspects fled the city on a Northland bus but were caught before reaching their destination.
The dramatic arrests were caught on cell phone video just north of the Sault after police there got a tip from Thunder Bay Police that 3 men wanted in a double shooting here were on board the Ontario Northland bus. Detective Sergeant Jason Ryback spoke with local reporters about how it all went down.
We identified 3 individuals that were involved in this shooting. Through video surveillance that we got from members of the public, we were able to track the individuals getting onto a Northland bus. And through the assistance of other community members, we were able to track the bus, get hold of the Sault Ste. Marie Police Service, who provided us assistance this morning. One of them was armed with a loaded firearm, was wearing body armor. One of the other individuals threw a loaded firearm on the bus. So we're in the process of sorting all that out.
The double shooting occurred on the 200 block of Ambrose Street. City police received a 911 call just before 10:30 Tuesday night. A female victim was located at the scene with serious injuries, while a male victim managed to make his way to the casino parking lot after being shot. Both were transported to hospital. Ryback says they believe it was not a random incident.
This is as a result of the illicit drug trade. I would suggest it's along the home takeover lines. Again, our investigation will show that, but it's the same story that we've talked about regarding these GTA traffickers.
One of the suspects on the bus was previously arrested in Thunder Bay and was free on bail with orders to not be in the city. There were 6 other passengers on the bus at the time, and the arrests were carried out without anyone being injured. Ryback says this situation is not uncommon.
We're always in coordination working with the other police services. Of course, this one appears dramatic in the sense that, they're on the bus. We have had other instances where we've arrested these individuals on the buses here locally and out of town. So it's fairly common. considering the magnitude of what we're dealing with in the city.
2 of the suspects on the bus refused to identify themselves to police. Because of that, the names and charges won't be released until Thursday at the earliest. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
The family of Latonya Tate made an emotional plea to the public today to bring her home safely. The 25-year-old Thunder Bay woman hasn't been seen since New Year's Day.
I really need to know if she's okay, if she's alive, if she's troubled in the mind. I just, like her sisters and brothers, constantly asking me every day if I found her. If you're out there, message, call us right away, please.
The last confirmed sighting of Tate was on January 1st at approximately 11:30 in the morning in the Oliver Road area near the Regional Hospital and Lakehead University. Detective Sergeant Rob Gombola says Thunder Bay Police have spoken to a number of Tate's friends since her disappearance, but haven't uncovered any new leads as to her whereabouts.
You follow up on all the leads, but once again, through the information that we have received, there has not been a confirmed sighting since January 1st. At this time, we're not looking at doing a ground search. Again, we'll take the information as we receive it and make a determination from there if we feel a ground search is necessary at that time.
Tate is described as an Indigenous woman standing 5'10" with a medium build. This surveillance photo shows Tate was last seen wearing a dark parka with fur around the hood, a purple hoodie, black pants, and black running shoes. Anyone with information about the whereabouts of Latonya Tate is encouraged to contact Thunder Bay Police or Crime Stoppers.
The regional hospital has partnered with Orange, Ontario's air ambulance service provider, to launch a first-ever Blood on Board program in the Northwest. Orange will carry transfusible blood on board its aircraft for flights to remote communities to help patients in urgent need of transfusions. Mike Lang has more.
The time it takes for patients to be flown from remote communities into regions with proper medical equipment can prove to be fatal in situations where every second counts. But as of this spring, transfusible blood will be flown to patients instead of the other way around, thanks to Thunder Bay Regional's partnership with Orange, which will equip Ontario's air ambulance services with what they need to expeditiously transport and administer blood to those who urgently need it.
This really makes a difference from the perspective of getting patients more appropriate care, definitive care, life-saving care, and improving patient outcomes. So we're really thrilled to be a part of this collaborative partnership. It's really about a team effort between our blood bank, our hospital, Orange, and the communities to really improve outcomes for patients.
This means a lot for our communities, especially those that are in remote areas, for them to be able to get access to this type of treatment when they need it is so critical. We're happy that it's happening.
The hospital's blood bank will supply O-negative blood in specialized coolers for up to 96 hours of storage, ensuring constant supply on board Orange aircraft. The blood warmer unit will then heat the blood up to body temperature before it is transfused through a short IV to the patient. The first Blood on Board program in Ontario was launched 2 years ago at Sunnybrook Health Sciences Centre in Toronto, where more than 80 units of blood have been administered to over 50 patients since. Orange CEO Homer Tien says the program's implementation in the Northwest will be a huge step toward improving health equity for remote communities.
We sort of represent the first sort of hospital level care that they might receive. So in some of the communities, they have nursing clinics with no ability to transfuse blood or other sort of advanced medical resuscitation skills. And so for us to get there with full capability is very important.
Orange also brings medical treatment in the south closer to remote areas in the north by providing point-of-care lab tests for diagnostic purposes and a specialized mental health response program that started in 2021. As for blood transfusions, the partnership between Thunder Bay Regional and Orange will launch in April 2023. Mike Lang, TBT News.
Ontario's Integrity Commissioner and the Auditor General are opening an official investigation into whether the provincial housing minister tipped off developers about a plan to open up parts of the so-called Greenbelt to new development. The Green Belt is a protected area of 2 million acres in southwest Ontario, set up in 2005 to prevent further urban expansion. Multiple developers have purchased Green Belt land since the Conservative government was elected in 2018. One of those purchases was in September 2022, just weeks before the government announced its plan to develop parts of the Green Belt to deal with increased demand for new housing.
The former president of one of the province's biggest unions is responding to allegations that he improperly used union funds. Warren Smokey Thomas was named in a lawsuit filed by the Ontario Public Service Employees Union. It seeks nearly $6 million that the union alleges was unlawfully transferred to Thomas and 2 other former executives. Thomas's legal team, writing in part, OPSU released to the media a statement of claim naming Warren Smokey Thomas and others that was riddled with errors, falsehoods, and untrue allegations. Mr. Thomas rejects the claim against him and intends to defend his good name.
Well, here's a blast from the past. Hudson Bay Company has unveiled its list of the first 25 Zeller locations that will open this year across Canada, but Thunder Bay isn't on it. The Zellers store at Intercity Shopping Centre closed its doors exactly 10 years ago this week. It was one of 3 local stores to shut down in 2013, when the discount chain closed most of its locations across Canada. HBC is now reviving the Zellers banner, but the 9 sites allotted to Ontario will all be in the southern parts of the province. We'll have more on the Zellers revival a little later on in the news hour.
Organizers of the annual Parade of Lights presented their 4 charities with checks totaling $45,000 today, thanks to the public's overwhelming support. Last month, thousands of local residents took advantage of mild temperatures and lined the streets for the annual parade. The $45,000 marks the event's largest ever donation and will go to the local branches of Autism Ontario and Special Olympics Ontario, as well as the George Jeffrey Children's Centre and the Therapeutic Riding Association. Former Police Association President Greg Stevenson wants to give a special thanks to all the volunteers who work tirelessly every year to make the Parade of Lights such a success.
Between the volunteers that walk the parade, the volunteers that work at Manitoula, making sure everybody gets in there, and the parade, the parade entries themselves. I mean, you just look at it, and I'm just dumbfounded sometimes by the amount of work that they do. And every year, it's better and better. So, obviously, for 2023, we're already hoping for bigger and better, and keep going.
When we get the turnout that we did this year, and then the amount of money that we raised for all the charities that were involved, it's incredible. And you know, we thank the city for that and everybody that contributed to getting that goal.
Planning is already underway for next year's 24th annual Parade of Lights.
Air and Sea cadets from across the Northwest were at Camview Nordic Centre recently to take part in a regional cadet biathlon competition. The event was cancelled the past few years due to the pandemic, but is now back to get youth involved in the unique dual sport. Jess Clement reports.
The Camview Nordic Centre saw 46 cadets ranging in age from 12 to 18 competing in the biathlon event. In the morning, they held a professional development session where cadets learned and practiced cross-country skiing and practiced their marksmanship in the shooting area. The competition saw the competitors ski around a 1.5-kilometer track, go into the target area and successfully shoot 5 rounds before getting up and skiing the track again. Instead of using a biathlon rifle like the athletes in the Olympics, the cadets used Daisy air rifles with pellets. Zone Training Officer Linda Fogan Madsen talks about the benefits of the biathlon and similar competitions.
Part of the cadet program is physical fitness, and so this helps meet that goal. And so we have cadets of all skill levels that are skiing, and it's to help build team camaraderie for the units, a little bit of competition, healthy, friendly competition, and just so that the cadets can get together and have a good experience.
Nicholas Wiesenthal, who is part of the 42 Vindictive Sea Cadets, says he's been competing in biathlon since he was 10, and he's learned a lot over the last 7 years.
Honestly, as much as I've grown as an athlete, it's really good to pass my knowledge on to others and watch them grow as well. I was teaching my cadets recently on how to ski. They've just watching them progress. It's also really rewarding.
Yeah, I've been skiing for quite a while, so it's really nice to kind of be able to do that through the cadet program. And then it's kind of cool to be able to teach others and stuff how to do that and to kind of introduce a new activity to people.
More information about the cadets and how to join them can be found on canada.ca under the Cadets tab. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Well, Fiona, today was a